Hello, welcome. So this is the second session in a 6-session series for how to build your course. And we're basically coming in today to pick up in the first step. So last week I did an overview of the whole process and talked to people about strategies for how you can go about doing this. And this week I'm going to get into the first piece of already having chosen the strategy. So if you've just joined and you're not really sure, I'm actually going to do a poll here and ask everyone. And it's in progress, so you should be able to see. How will you plan to build your Canvas course? So you've got 3 options there: fresh start, cleaning your Blackboard course, or that middle one, copying out parts. And so I will give you guys a second to kind of think about an answer. I have to say, do you mind if I call you out on who plans to clean their Blackboard course? Raise your hand. Okay. So I definitely want to point you towards this resource that is in the chat now. So you've got the URL in the chat. It's asynchronous. It follows along with these sessions. And on the left-hand side of my screen here, you can see it.
Melissa, I don't have anything in the chat.
Nothing in the chat. Uh-oh. I've noticed if you post something in the chat and people join after, they can't see it. So weird. Okay, it should be there now. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's basically just a website I'm kind of putting together. As I teach it, I go back, I fill out some more information about it. So it's kind of growing with this process. And so I ask you to bear with me, because you'll see coming soon on the next ones, because those are just going to be built right in time. This first one here is going to overview what I talked about last week. And it starts off really super basic on just how to even get to Canvas. So if you need that kind of support, or you know someone who does, feel free to share that link. This is how it's going to start off. But then it gets into the specifics of how I overviewed this process and helped people decide on which strategy they want to move forward with. So really did a side-by-side comparison and looked at the abundance of duplicates and other mess that is created in that Blackboard course. And so it just doesn't come over into Canvas very clean. And you may find that the copying out parts would be less work than having to go and delete all of the extra stuff you probably don't want. So just keep that in mind. And this is what this page is talking about and showing you each sample. And then I did put in a recording of last week's. I teach this session 4 times a week. So by the time I got to Friday, it was really good. So I put Friday's video in. And if you're going to share it out, that's probably the one everybody wants to watch, because it just, you get used to things and it kind of makes more sense. You become a little more logical when you talk about it over and over. So please feel free to reference that. And then I'm also going to point out that there are some resources in here. And this Canvas webpage for UIW is super important. So Michael had asked a couple of questions before we got started about, which of my courses or how do I get them moved over to Canvas from Blackboard, etc. Well, the migration schedule is on this website. All summer 2020 is already there. You more than likely have your fall courses as well by now, if not within the next few days. And then spring will be in the beginning of June. So everything from last year already moved over for you. And if there's something you're missing, maybe it was a master course of some kind, or maybe something non-academic, or I'm not sure, just something that you've got in Blackboard that you want to move over, you can have that done by filling out an export request form, and that'll go to the system administrator and she'll get that taken care of for you. So master course has its own request form. So those 2 drop-down menus there, having a couple of different options. But there's just a ton of useful information on this page, and you just might find yourself referencing it often. So we've got our UIW info page. I want to remind you, you've got 24/7 Canvas support. You can call them on the phone. You can chat with them while you're in Canvas. and they can see what you're trying to work on. They can walk you through step by step. So you want to work midnight, go for it. Holidays, go for it. It's a really great feature. Your students also have that. So, once the semester starts, they are supported as well. And then I've got links to instructor guides and student guides, and then help desk services, of course. Sometimes it's not Canvas. You think it's Canvas because you're trying to do something in Canvas, but it's actually your web browser. And then they can call help desk and get maybe an update or help installing an alternative. So if you use Firefox and Firefox is acting funny, then you get Chrome, try it over there. So it's all web-based, and that's just the nature of playing on the internet. And then, of course, if you have questions about this course, don't hesitate. You can email me directly, or this link will take you to our ITS, the team email, just in case stuff for system admin or whoever you're trying to reach. We all check that box. So easy to get us. I am going to hop on over to the second topic, organization and settings. And so you're probably, if you weren't here last week, we're probably thinking like, well, what does that mean? What all are we going to do? Well, I'm going to talk about the back end, how you want to handle files, some good practice backing up your course. So in case you make a mistake, you can go back and fix that, and that sort of stuff. So on the left, I've got my list of things we're going to talk about, and these are in that resource right now. I may go back after we're done talking and add some information if we uncover something's not clear or thorough enough. But for the most part, it's good to go. So, did you guys have any questions about the resources and information so far? Awesome. Okay. Well, don't hesitate. Very informal. Just interrupt me. Use the chat however you feel comfortable. So on the left, you've got my list. On the right, you've got my Canvas. I went to Cardinal Apps and I accessed straight through here. If you run into the problem that you cannot get into Canvas, a few months back, there was some issues with the accounts and the system admin had to reset people. So that's definitely something that if it's been a while since you tried to log in, you might be locked out, and that's, sending her an email so she could fix it. But if you've logged in lately, you're good to go. So I have all these courses, right? And I have the School of Nursing and Health Professions. I've got my 3 course options that we talked about last week, and that I'm going to keep working on for the rest of the series. So we've really come to the conclusion that copying parts of my Blackboard course is going to be the most efficient way to work, because it's just so full of stuff, hundreds of pages, hundreds of files, and really it's not all being used. It's just extra duplicates from course copies and the template. So what was over in Blackboard, there's just a lot of it. So this first one I want to talk about is ensuring you're always working in the correct Canvas course. So I've been building courses for over 15 years. I've been in Canvas for about 4 years now, and it looks the same. And if you scroll down, your identifier is gone. So it's real easy if you're doing stuff and you've got multiple tabs open to copy and paste into the wrong one if you're not careful. So just a little tip there, making sure that you are in the right place before you get started. So that breadcrumb at the top is really, really helpful. The next part, are you teaching multiple sections? So what about you guys? Do you teach the same course to multiple sections of students? Yes. So you're going to want to cross-list your courses. And it's really easy. This is a link to a video, so you don't have to memorize what I'm about to show you in any way, shape, or form. I've been working Canvas for years and I don't have it memorized. I Google, I look at the guides, I call support, right? There's just a lot you can do. And if you only do it once a semester, it's hard to remember. So you are basically going to go into the course that you want to be your parent. Okay, so you're going to pick a parent. I'm going to say this course here, my sandbox is going to be my parent. And I'm going to click on settings. And then I'm going to go to sections. And I'm going to click the section that I have here. And over on the right-hand side, it says cross-list this section. I'm going to click that button, and it's going to ask to search for a course. Well, I'm not going to go through the trouble of doing any of that. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do cheat. I'm going to come over here, and this is the course I want to be one of the children. I'm going to copy this little code at the end of the URL. I'm going to go back to my parent, and I'm going to paste that here, and it's going to find it for me. So that little code at the end is going to go right here. I'm going to just choose that, and I'm going to say cross-list this section. And just like that, I now have one course with 2 sections of students. Now, I encourage you to do this before you build, because any of the content that was in my child course is now not really there. It's with the course, but it's not in the parent course. And so the only way I'm going to get back to it is if I decross list and separate them back out, which I am actually going to do because I don't want those connected.
Melissa,
Yeah.
how do you know that you are in the parent course versus the child course?
So the name, I mean, really everything's got its own unique information.
So when you do that cross listing, I guess, you do the cross listing.
It maintains its own unique name for each section. It will be listed. It will maintain the unique name as the section. So let's say you've got, I'm going to actually show you a real sample instead of trying to make believe.
But Melissa, I think maybe what she was asking is, if we don't always make sure that we're in the parent course, will it screw up if we add something and we're not in the parent one and we're in the child one?
You're not going to have any of those options. So once you go through the cross-list process, you're not going to have any other choice but to go to the one you stuck everything in. So it's going to save you from yourself. And that's why I just want to show you real quick what I have a sample course here. So spring 2021. And we have got, I do believe there are 2 in this particular course. And I'm going to just go straight over to the settings, and you'll see under sections, see how it says DPT section 1 and section 2? All that the instructors see on their dashboard is just the one course tile that they go into that course and work there. They don't have to worry about this. It just is managing all the enrollments and all the student work that's being done in the same course. Now, if they went into this section and chose to decross list it, which you'll see they don't have that option because like it's not part of what I'm showing you guys how to do. It's how Canvas was set up in the past. So now they've given you the power to combine your courses for yourself, because too many teachers decided they didn't want to be cross-listed. So it's easier to put them together than it is to separate. So we went with the path of least resistance here. So
Melissa, so I guess what I'm asking is, when you go to do that, when you initially have the 2 sections of a course listed, they have that title up there at the top that says DPT 5323 section 2, correct?
So
originally, like if there are 2 sections and we have not cross-listed them together yet,
correct.
it'll say this BT section whatever, or that unique ID number that you were talking about.
Yes.
And then once you combine them, those 2 different tiles will go away and be combined under one.
Yes. So
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
5323 actually has section 1 and section 2 and no longer shows either one of them because it's combined.
I guess like when you're on Blackboard, when you do a master course or you do that parent course, the child course still shows. You just have to make it unavailable. So I guess what I'm saying is Canvas thinks for you and doesn't make it available anymore. And it's just all listed as one whole course. And then when you go under settings, you can see all the different sections, correct?
Correct. So let's
Okay.
This one we had looked at how you just saw those. If I show you what the faculty sees, I can do that. And it should clear that up. So when Dr. Walk logs in to see his 2 combined courses, all he has is just foundational sciences 2. It doesn't indicate the section because section 1 and section 2 are inside this combined course. So yeah, it makes it super simple for you. Everything is really user friendly on the visual side rather than in Blackboard. It kind of had, you know, it was just a little bit different the way it kind of showed us how things were connected. I'm going to stop acting as user. Those are good questions. Any other questions about that for cross listing? So it's definitely something you want to do before you start building. If you are teaching in summer and you already have your summer shells, you can already do that process and be ready to go immediately.
So, Melissa, if you've got different faculty assigned to sections and you combine them, will all the faculty that were assigned to all those different sections then have access to the one course?
So from the documentation, it shows you can either have faculty assigned just to a section or to the whole course. So I would imagine there's some sort of option along the way until somebody does it and actually has faculty and I can see or at least be explained. I'm not entirely positive, but I know for the way spring ran, the two people who were teaching together had access to both. And then when they cross-listed, they still have access to both. But for summer, I've got 13 different sections. One person only wants to deal with one section, but they still want to cross-list. They're going to be able to do that too. I just don't know exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like our thesis and dissertation where like, you know, each of us have a section
Yes.
and we're the primary person, but we actually collectively teach it together.
Yes. So I would say the capstone in PT and how they're handling, I don't know the name of it, but Amy Crocker, she's might be our good friend to be able to tell us what we can expect on that one, because that's something that they've already.
That's professional critical self-reflection.
Perfect. Thank you. I was like, I know one of them.
So it has a master class and then we break out by teachers to small groups.
Yes. So it is doable, and I'm just not real sure on the exact button pushing.
Well, I guess that's the question. And then that brings another question exactly where Michael was going, because Michael and I teach in that same course. So these are courses, it's all the same course, but each faculty has an individual section, and they were designed that way, even though there's only a couple students in each, because we needed our provost evaluations.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I guess we always have someone who's lead of the course, who basically is taking care of the administrative aspects, because we teach the course collectively. So then I guess the question becomes, is do we as individual sections need to go in and cross-list our course with someone else's course? Because my course is going to show up for me with my two students, but I'm teaching this same course and we hold class for those students with Michael's students. So that's where we're all like, we want one. And traditionally what has happened is in Blackboard, all of our individual sections became children, and there was one master course that was created. So we don't know, that's what Michael's trying to get at. How are we going to do that?
It works the same way. The parent-child relationship in Blackboard works the same way in Canvas. The buttons you push to get it to work are just a little different.
I guess the question is, does someone has to be listed as a parent then? Because right now we're all listed as individual faculty. It's one course, but different section, and each section belongs to a different faculty member. So the course is probably going to be listed. Well, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, it's an issue because I have DMP Project 3 listed for
There you
some,
go.
and that I have Section 1. I don't know what the other people have, but I build the course, and all the faculty in that course, Karen Weiss, Michael Moon, Diana Beckman-Mendez, all have to be able to see the same content of the course, but they have to be able to grade their own students.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
So I don't believe it's an issue. I believe it's completely doable. I just don't know exactly how to tell you to do it. So I'm going to put the link to make an appointment, and we can look at your exact courses and take care of it. Yeah, I really don't think it's going to be hard. I think that me trying to explain what's going to happen without being in your courses, looking at your people, figuring out the complex problem outside of actually doing it is just a little abstract. But I think it's not a problem. I know that it can do it.
So we should probably wait until we have people in the course to do that.
Well, I mean, your summer courses should already have people assigned to teach.
But no students.
Yeah, the students aren't, I don't believe the students should matter. I will double check with the banner people to find out how enrollments work, but cross-listing has been done for the entire spring semester and it hasn't been a problem yet, so I don't see it being an issue. Even though you've cross-listed your courses, your enrollments are still going to be managed through banner for each section.
But we can't separate our sections till we have people in them because Michael has 2 students, Diana has 2 students, I have 2 students, Karen has 1 student, that sort of thing. So that's how we divide our sections. So we do need an appointment, but we probably need it at the beginning of May.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Mhm. Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, definitely willing to work through that with you guys in a meeting. We'll take care of it, and a lot more to cover today. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do before you get started is you're gonna wanna go into your Blackboard copy that came over automatically, and you're gonna wanna make a backup. And I say this because just in case you end up deleting or doing something and you have any problems, then you've got this and we can restore it really easily and you will have exactly what you backed up. So I went into settings of my Blackboard copy and I'm just going to come over here to export course content and I'm going to click create export, and that's it. And it's going to run the process and it's going to do it for you. So it's super, super simple. This is just in the event anything you started doing and you want to get it back to exactly how it was the moment you were looking at it.
And Melissa, does that store it internally on the y'all's drive, or do we download that to our own computer?
You download it to your own computer. It says right here that files cannot be downloaded after 30 days. So, if you plan to build your course within a month, then you probably don't even have to download it. It will just sit there and be your safety net. Yeah, so really it's just a good practice just in case you need to get something back. This next one, how do I import parts of my Blackboard course? So this is what we were talking about. It's probably going to be the easiest for most people. So if you're teaching in summer, which is the demonstration I'm going to do now, because I'll be doing this again in the summer for people teaching in fall. So I'm going to act like I'm teaching in summer. And I'm going to go into my summer academic course shell. Banner created this. It's already waiting for you if you're the instructor of record, and you're going to go in there. Now, let's say you're not teaching and you're here because you want an early start. It's not a problem. You'd go into your sandbox course and follow the exact same process. So if you are teaching and want to do the sandbox because you're not going to teach till fall, I'm going to give you really quick that you might want to go get the blueprint pieces that UIW has sent out, that they are recommending you have certain parts to your course to ensure that all students are having a consistent experience. So these are editable, but if you're in a sandbox, it's empty and you won't have it. So it's super easy to get. You import from Commons. You're going to come over here and you're going to search for UIW Summer 2021 Blueprint. And everybody has access to this. And you select it and you click Import Download. And then you choose the course that you want to put it into. So the School of Nursing Faculty Sandbox is my choice. It's the only one I want to do because of today's class. And then I click Import. And all of the pieces that I'm supposed to have in my academic course shell are now going to be in my sandbox. I'm going to come back and we'll take a look at that. And now you can see in my sandbox and my academic shell, I have the exact same information, and you can pretty much get started doing everything that you want to do. And when you're ready to move it over to that academic space, everything is going to be, easier to transfer.
And Melissa, is this what replaces what they were doing in Blackboard where it had similar, it looks like similar stuff, but also had the links to like Office with Student with Disabilities, that kind of stuff? Is it replacing all of that?
Yes and no. So there's going to be some extra icons over here in the global navigation that's going to handle the links to student disability services and other policies and websites that you might need to give them to. It's also going to have one for the libraries. So their resources are going to have a home as well. This is actually, so it doesn't have all the pieces, and then it also just doesn't have as much stuff. So it basically, and if you look back on last week's session, I covered all of the pieces in detail. So it's definitely there for your reference, but it's really just this homepage. And then it's got a couple of sample modules with some information you'd want to include. So pretty basic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come on over and I am going to choose settings again. We're doing a lot in settings today. And I'm going to say import course content. And I'm going to select that we're going to copy, and I'm going to copy from my Blackboard course. So my Blackboard copy here has all of the stuff that came from Blackboard. And I'm going to say I want to select specific content, and I'm going to say import. And I'm going to let that populate. It usually pops up instantly, and then I get to select just what I want. And this is where I was talking about there's a lot of stuff in here that you probably don't need. Specifically 111 pages of information. It can't possibly be accurate. It's just too much. And there was just copies of copies and lots of template information that you're not going to need. The library information as well, again, that's going to have an icon with all that links and stuff already handled for you. So I don't need a lot of this stuff. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to select the parts I do want. And just to show you what I mean by that, I'm going to select that I want the syllabus and outline just because I know that my syllabus is in there and I'm going to need it. I want the weekly content. And I do believe that that is about it. All the rest of this is, I'm going to do workouts and content just in case. I think that that might be something I need. All the rest of it I'm going to ignore because it's garbage. And I'm going to come to assignments and I'm looking at all of this and I'm going to say, I'm not the teacher, so I'm not really sure what I want to keep. But if I was the teacher, I would know exactly what I was looking for. But I know that all of this is from the template, so I don't want it. I know that this is part of this course, so I do want it. So are these. And I'm just looking for what makes sense. I am going to guess that she uses these. I'm going to keep these. And that's it. I'm going to keep going. So the quizzes, see how it's already blocked? I clicked something that has a connection to a quiz and it's smart enough to know what I'm going to need with it. So I had a module that has a quiz inside of it. I already selected the module, so Canvas knows I also am going to want to take this stuff with it. So I get to keep going. Question banks. This one, you want to pay close attention to. There's just going to be duplicates oftentimes, and you're not going to want to take all of them. One of my questions last week from a faculty was, I selected this question bank, and the students are saying the questions didn't match. Well, it turns out he had two different ones with the same name, and they had copied in from Blackboard, and in the process of selecting just didn't recognize that there had been two of them and picked the opposite one. So just be mindful of that discrepancy. Okay, and so now I've got quite a bit of pages, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to select the ones that I want. And I'm not really sure the difference, so I might have some extras. I'm just gonna take them just in case, because I would rather have a few of the wrong things than not enough of what I needed. And any questions about this process? So you can see it might take you 30 minutes to sit and go through this, but the fact that you won't have to delete hundreds of things that are in your way while you're creating your course will save you a lot of a headache. Okay, announcements. I'm going to bring those over just in case there's any that I want to reuse. I'm going to look at the rubrics and I can bring them over, but they are most likely going to be inaccurate because Blackboard to Canvas does not transfer rubrics in perfect shape. So you might need to edit them. The documentation does say just to recreate them, but they do come over enough that you can edit. Okay, and I'm going to skip that. I can go back and get them later. I can do this process again and grab them if I change my mind. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring over most of my files. I'm looking at the ones that say template, I'm ignoring because I know I don't want the template stuff. And I'm going to select the other ones because I know I want that. And then that process is going to happen in the back end. And once it's finished, it's either going to say green completed, or it's going to have a yellow and it's going to say some errors. And if I click that, I'm going to get the details of what those errors are so that I can address it or ignore it. Sometimes it's as simple as just a broken link or missing links because things become outdated. Okay, the next part, as this is running, I've got 3 issues. So I'm just going to take a look. I've got one missing link and an announcement. I can open this in a new tab and find out what exactly is wrong. Oh, and I can see, well, this is going to take some editing. And I recommend scheduling 2 30-minute walks and listening to this podcast. Well, apparently the podcast is no longer available and I'm going to have to change that. So it will tell you. And then again, in this wiki body, there's something here that they're broken. And that happens just over time. We need to check our links every semester. Okay, so now that I've done this, I'm going to head over to my files section. And so organizing your files, this 1 through 5 here, best thing you can do is create folders for yourself to keep yourself organized. The beauty of the files area is that it can be hidden from your students. So you can organize your files in the way that makes sense to you. So you may create your course in modules that have blocks of information the students are needing to complete. But instead of doing week 1 in a folder in the back end, maybe you want to put all your videos in a folder. You could do that. Maybe you want to put all your PowerPoints in a folder. You can do that. And students are never going to see this folder structure as long as you keep it hidden from your course navigation. It's one of the things I found. It's easier to organize for your ease in a hidden file structure in Canvas, and then you can create your modules in your student-friendly approach. So creating a module is super easy. You just click the plus folder on module. Creating a folder is super easy. Just create the plus button. And I'm going to actually say that this is my Blackboard copy materials. And I'm going to save that with the check mark or by pressing enter.
Oh, Melissa?
Yes.
If we created folders for every one of our courses similar to that in our cloud, is this doing something different? Are we not going to be able to load that stuff from the cloud? I mean, our regular 365, 5, or is this what we should do? So we should take all of that we have over in that and put it into this?
There are multiple ways to accomplish what you're asking. So building content is next week. You can link to all of your cloud documents all day long. It's not a problem whatsoever, but most people have something that they want to upload into their course, whether it's an image whether it's a file, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDFs, right? Something that they're going to need to put in the back end here because they want to share it. So the way I best describe this, you've got a syllabus. You create your syllabus, you save it in OneDrive. Yes? Then you put your OneDrive link in Canvas so that students can look at your syllabus. But when you edit that syllabus, it's going to change and that link is going to show those students the updated version. So it's not exactly a reliable way to create summer 2021 information and save it with your course by keeping it over in OneDrive. So that's why this would be where you would put some of those things that are one time with this term. My summer 2021 syllabus would be in this course. Okay, so I created this folder called Blackboard Copy Materials, and I'm gonna put every single thing inside of it that's in this back end, because I know that all of the stuff besides the UIW template materials is all from that Blackboard copy. And I'm just gonna click move, and I'm going to select the folder I wanna put it in and say move, and it just put it all inside of there for me. So now I know as I'm building my course over the next few weeks, when I'm ready to go look for something, let's say I come in here and I know that I really need this beginner Pilates student checklist. I use it. I'm definitely going to reuse it this semester. I can move it out and I know that it is now, it says I'm successful. It's just one way to keep track of the things that I'm using, and whatever's left over in this folder at the end of my build, I can throw it away and I'm comfortable with the fact that I've cleaned up the mess. This is especially true if you decide to clean up your Blackboard course. So this is my Blackboard copy. And if I come over to my files area, I've got a lot of stuff going on. And you probably don't want to keep most of this. So you can also easily go into files and you can search. So let's say I want to find all of the PDF files that I have uploaded. I search PDF, it brings up every PDF. Very useful for if you're wanting to find out, do I have multiple versions of the same thing? And then you can delete the extras if that's inaccurate. Okay, so creating folders, moving files, it's very easy to delete. You can delete anything you want. So the RSO student handbook, I'm going to select this and I'm going to say delete. And I'm going to say okay. And it says it's deleted successfully, but I'm still looking at it. Who's confused, right? Like that, why would I do that? Sometimes it has some little quirks that way, but once I've refreshed my screen, it's gone. I'm also going to delete this student handbook. I don't need that either. And I can delete more than one at a time if you just control and select different ones. Also want to make a point to say, if you don't use dates or numbers in your file names, Canvas has a replace feature. So once your course is entirely built, I'm going to come back to the main area. I'm sorry, that was one click too many, the main files area. I'm going to come to my Blackboard copy materials and I am going to look at these three options. You see how I have syllabus, then I have syllabus 2020 and 2021. If I keep naming it for the year, I have to upload the document and then go put it somewhere in the course. It can't automatically update across the board for me. But if I name it without the date, I can actually upload and replace this document with any changes I've made. So I'm going to download. And it's opening. And in here, I'm going to enable editing. And I'm going to say that this is summer 2021, because I do want students to know what year they're looking at, but I'm not going to put it in the name of the file. And now I'm just saving it so that I can upload it again. And when I come back over here and I upload this, Canvas is going to ask me, do I want to skip, change the name, or replace it? I'm going to say replace, and every link to that document throughout the course is automatically updated for me with the push that button. That's it. I'm done. So it's definitely something to consider. We're talking about sustainable naming conventions if you want to use the replace option. Okay.
Okay, so Melissa, in this, because you're in one mod, like you're in your sandbox, if I copy to another course or I save the similar files to another course, then that'll be a separate folder. So if I change that, it will just do that, those folders in that course, not, it won't.
Everything in Canvas is only contained per course.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay,
Now,
thanks.
I can take the URL inside one course, and I could put a copy into another course of this web address and direct people over there. But unless they're enrolled in both of the courses, it's going to be useless because they'll be blocked out of whatever they're not enrolled in. So the URLs, just like any other hyperlink on the internet, you can copy this and put it somewhere, but it's only going to work for students that have access to that information associated with that course. Okay, so the next part here, large files such as video or narrated PowerPoint. So again, next week, I'm going to talk about all the ways to build this stuff out within the course, the student facing side. But today's session is talking about the settings and the back end. All of your large files, so you can see here, I have 2 gigs of space and I've used 0%. If I start uploading videos or large PowerPoints, I'm going to get to the 100% maxed out in a matter of minutes. It's not a huge amount of space, and those large files are a problem. So a couple of ways you can deal with them. Karen was so nice to ask about OneDrive. That's absolutely the best way to deal with large PowerPoints. Putting them in your OneDrive, creating the link so that anyone with the link can view it. You can turn off the editing feature so they can't edit your PowerPoint. And then you just put the link in Canvas and it works beautifully and it takes up no space in your files. For videos, you've got a couple of options. 3 if you're in health professions. You've got Stream, so Microsoft Stream. I'm going to show you right over here. This is Stream, and I've got all kinds of videos. I can just go share, and I can get the link or the embed code, and I can put those in Canvas. I've also got Echo 360 for health professions. So if you're not familiar with Echo 360, John Miller with Instructional Technology Services is in the process of putting together the Canvas instance of making that work beautifully for us and giving us a place to store our videos. And it has a lot of really awesome instruction features that you can track how students are watching your videos. They can contact you at points throughout the video where they might have questions and they get confused. It's really a really high quality tool, and there'll be some trainings on that coming shortly. Then you've got Canvas Studio. So I went ahead and I went into Canvas Studio and I uploaded my video of my dog snoring just so y'all could see. It's 10 seconds long. It's super small, super short. That's great for Studio. So if you've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, really fast, you just want to maybe get online, tell your students the answer to a question everybody's asking, make some clarifications, and post that in your course. Studio can do the recording straight in Canvas and get it linked into your course, all very easy. And we will talk more about that next week on how to make that happen. But so those are going to be your video options. The next part here is organizing your pages. So now that we've copied all of my stuff that was going on, I definitely want to come on over into my pages area. And I want to say, okay, so this is my home page, and then I have a button to view all my pages. And this will get you to your alphabetical list, and you can go through and you can decide what you want or don't want. So I've got quite a bit of stuff in here. And then this is my blueprint, my academic course shell, where I have only pulled in some stuff. Oh, got some craziness going on here. I'll need to look at that. We're coming to pages. We're looking at all of them. And this one's going to take a long time to load because it's got all of them in my Blackboard copy. So there's quite a bit of information in your pages, and these are going to be everything that copied over from Blackboard, such as an item, a file, a link. All of that creates a page into Canvas.
Melissa, can I ask a very basic question that I'm not sure I got from the last time? How is a page different than a module? I assume that a page is the individual screen that you're seeing, and module is like a bunch of pages underneath it.
So yeah, that's not a basic question. There was an entire hour training on just that topic alone. So
Okay.
I feel like it's basic. It's basically modules are an empty shoebox,
Okay.
and you can fill it with an endless number of pennies, all different kinds of pennies. That's basically what happens here. A module is an empty box that is whatever you name it. And then you're going to fill it up with all the stuff that you might want to.
Which are the pages?
Pages are one way. Pages, assignments, quizzes, discussions, links, all of the features you've got can be added into a module, and that creates the structure of your course. So that's also a whole nother topic for 2 weeks from now.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I had a little quick definition. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So basically this week we want to talk about just cleaning up the mess and going in, actually deleting your pages, making sure that you don't have anything in here you don't need. And then we're going to start next week with backfill what you do need. So the next part here is I want to talk to you about settings. So we've got just a few minutes left. I like to usually have more time for questions, but we've had some really good dialogue throughout. And I have a 4 o'clock training, so I don't want anybody to feel like I'm just bouncing out of here, but I don't want to keep them waiting because I was late last week and I felt really bad. And they, definitely hit my email up to let me know. So in settings, there are basically 5 tabs, and you're going to have total control over what is going on. You get to choose. So I'm going to quickly say sections is what we talked about with cross-listing, and that I will be happy to work with individual issues for cross-listing and how we get all of that worked out. Basically just pick any time on my calendar. It's up to date, and it will send me an email to tell me to be there, and I will. Navigation is going to be creating your course navigation menu. So all you're doing is dragging and dropping above and below the line. Below is hidden, above is not. And then scrolling down to click save. Super, super simple. Your apps area, these are going to be those external tools that integrate with Canvas. The best thing you can do is click this little tiny folder that says, see some LTI tools that work great. Click that. You never would have thought to click it because it's so little and unassuming, but it opens up where you go to see all of the coolness that you can acquire. And you can click on them and you can read all of the details of whatever it is you're looking for. So Canvas is already going to have some integrations from UIW, right? So we've got Respondus and Echo 360 and some other things that are going on, but these are going to be extras that you might want to look into. Then come back over here to where I was. The next one is feature options. Anytime Canvas decides to try out something new, okay, that it's going to come over as a feature option for a period of time where people can play with it optionally. And really, you just read a little bit about what it's talking about. The Canvas guides tell us more information if it's something we're interested in, and you can then turn stuff on. So you definitely want to take a look. It might have something you're looking to do. It might not, and it's totally up to you. The same concept for this area that's more elaborate is the course details, where we landed. You can see this whole page of all different stuff. I want to highlight that you can choose the image that goes on your dashboard tile, and you can upload it here. You can change your course name if you want to customize that. You can decide that you want to choose course participation to start and end on a new date. So let's say you don't want your course to open up the day the term starts. You want to do it the weekend before. You can do that. You would just put your start date into this area, and whatever date, maybe you don't want to have students out of your course until a week after the term ends. You have control. You'll have 2 gigs like we talked about. So that's definitely the file restriction area and wanting to make sure we manage that accurately. We've got several features here that I have outlined in the online resource with some more information. So this numbers 1 through 12 kind of talks about each one of those things as you're getting into it. It's a lot to sort of lecture and talk about, but just know that all of this you've got control over and you can turn it on and off. So make sure you click the more options at the bottom. Decide, do you want recent announcements to show at the top of your homepage, and how many of them do you want to display? 1 or 15, right? These are your choices for your course behaviors.
Melissa, is that visibility one? Is that where we make the course live or not?
No, so you're actually, you're going to have to publish, which we will talk about.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. That's at the end. It's not for several more weeks. So after you're done building, you have a button to push before it can actually be seen. But whatever you choose here, just make sure you click update course details, because that's how it saves. And that is the end of today's topic. I'm definitely available to talk more and answer all of your questions. I do teach the School of Osteopathic Medicine from 4 to 5 on Mondays. But other than that, this is I feel like this is one of the more dense sessions, because there are just so many little details for you to think about. Yes, and can you use a GIF for an image? Absolutely. All image files are
Melissa, I do have one quick question. My AirPods died right when I think you may have said this answer. But if I have a course that was copied from fall that I'm teaching in May, can I go into that fall class and pull those items out in Canvas to transfer into my May class?
So you have a fall class you taught in Blackboard.
Well, it's been put into Canvas already.
Yes, so you're talking about your Blackboard copy. Yes, so I went into my Blackboard copy here, just like you have one.
Okay.
And
just making sure that's where you were at.
You can copy things out, like you can push things out, but it doesn't work the same way that I did it. I went into the empty course and I imported in, but you can push stuff out. So really you just have to decide what you want. And if you go to that space, like say you want an assignment, and let's say that this final project is what I want, and you click this option, you can send copy to, and you can copy it to and find your course
Okay.
and do it that way. So there's
Okay.
multiple ways to handle everything you could possibly want to do, which is definitely why I really encourage everybody to just be open to sitting down, figuring out what it is you want to accomplish, and using the resources that are available to get you through that choice, rather than try to be a Canvas holistic expert and memorizing everything you could possibly do.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. So yes, lots still more to talk about. I feel like we'll be well on our way to knowing everything there is to know when this is over, but next year will be nice and calm. Okay, well, I will let you guys go. And please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you. Bye.